course,
you gonna get backed? You gonna ask for backing?
Yeah, send me money, Steve.
Nice.
I have you and Carlos. I know will each get 5 or 10% just out of pure. Yes, it's easier than trying to explain to me that I'm too terrible at poker to bet. You'd rather just suck up the $1,000 loss than deal.
Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and I am back with Mike Sneideman. Mike, thanks for coming back on the show.
Did I seriously not get the extra special guest, Steve? I mean, I think you once interviewed a ham sandwich and referred to it as an extra special guest. I don't even deserve that honor.
To build your way up to that, Mikey. So for those of you new to the show, Mike and I used to do a poker podcast for probably half a decade. That's why I've got the honorary poker background going here. So how you been, Mikey? Where you been playing lately? You still down at Oceans or?
Yeah, I've futzed around at some of the other casinos. I went to Hawaiian Gardens the other night, but yeah, mostly Oceans. Somehow I survived the pandemic.
Okay.
With the help of the people of California, with unemployment, etc.
Yes.
And now I'm surviving for the moment, but hanging off that cliff there.
Yeah. What you're still playing?
Steve, why did we have a poker podcast for 5 years? Can we discuss that? I'm sorry that you had to endure that. And I'm sorry for the people who actually were listening to my advice. I mean, you should know something about poker to have a poker podcast, right? Or
oh, you make up I don't know what you make all your annual income from playing cards, so you must have some idea what you're
don't be an idiot, Steve. I embarrass myself talking about my private life, especially. Okay, whatever. It's done. It's out there.
It's out there, yeah.
I need to move on.
I checked that show. We're almost 400,000 downloads total from when you and I were doing the poker show.
I'm sure there's people who stumble across it who've never heard it before and are listening to all of them.
Yeah, there is. You go back and you can see every month they're just clicking up more and more.
No, I talked to someone who's like, yeah, I haven't quite finished them all. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Yes, thank you for your 250 hours of listening you have generously given to my sad life. But so how are you doing, Steve?
I think I'm getting over the vid. I was down for the count for several days. I've tried to get back into it and run a little bit, but I can't seem to make it more than a mile before I just run out of breath and have no energy. So this one's hit me kind of hard. For 2 years, I was able to avoid this, and finally got it from somewhere, and I'm slowly on the mend. So, yeah, it was a rough couple days, especially, and then after that, cold chills and just night sweats and stuff, and no appetite. Food, can't taste your food. What little you can taste doesn't taste good. If you could avoid this, I would recommend it. So.
Yeah, I had COVID pretty
Yeah.
bad. And I was, just physical pain was pretty consistent was the big thing for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's not fun.
Yeah, no, but I am getting a little better. I did a run today. I made it about a mile again, but not getting over it as fast as, excuse me, as fast as I thought I would.
Right.
I thought, I've run a marathon. I'm in good physical health. This should be a walk in the park. Might not even know I have it. No, that's not the case.
Steve, even if they wheeled you to the hospital, you'd be in a good mood. That's good for you.
Yeah. Well, you asked recently about the silver bet. So the last time you were on, you got a few placed a silver bet in the physical form, and then you called me up the other day, and there it is. Nice.
I'm doing the thumbnail from the last one we did is you like this.
I got my little silver bar here too.
1 kilogram, baby.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you.
So Steve, why am I listening to you? Why are you now an expert on this here? Can you explain that to me?
Wondering why you bought silver and it hasn't gone up in price since you.
Well, no, well, I am so easily influenced because I knew I was going to make my first effort at real investing since I lost all my money in crypto, whatever that was, 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm listening to you, silver, gold, silver, gold. I'm like, fine. So I went and I bought like, $3,000 worth of silver, small. And then I was, going to buy a bunch more silver. And then someone's telling me, are you crazy? Crypto. That's where it's got to be. So most of my money's in crypto here, but I held on to the silver. And of course, the crypto, I mean, so did the stock market, like everything did. But of course, I'm an idiot. I got in it pretty much its height.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way I am. It had to be a failure. There's no other way I can manage it. I mean, if I don't sell, I'll probably make money off it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the way I look at it is the physical bet is something that you may never sell. This may be something that you pass to your son. If you really want to make money in this industry, it's in the leverage bets and the miners. And I can show you real quick what it is that I'm talking about with that. So I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll go down here to the silver price. And if we look over here, just in the last, we'll take the beginning of February here. So this is the spot price of silver, right?
So this is not actually buying or selling silver. This is just betting on the futures, or is that what is this
You
exactly?
kind of think of it as the paper price of silver. They don't really know what to, what the miners should be selling this to the refineries for. So this is kind of the price that they go on, right?
Okay.
This is the price that you're going to get quoted on whenever you go and get silver bars or silver coins from either Andy Schectman or a coin store, right? They look at this and they go, oh, the spot price of silver right now is $24.77. We'll charge you $3 over that and give it to you for $27.77, right? That's this. So this is the spot price. So we can see back in the beginning of February, this was around $22. And we can see now it's around 25, right? So it's gone from $22 up to about 25, which is a 12 or 14% increase, right? That's the physical metal. Now, if we go to one of the popular silver miners, one of the big guys in the space, one of the first ones that when you Google silver miner comes up, we get first Majestic Silver. And now look at this same run up. Okay. So around the beginning of February, around here, okay, it was around $10 a share. And right now it's almost at 14. So we went down here from about $10 all the way up to 14. That's a 40% increase. The physical metal was only 12 or 14%. This one's 40. Another popular silver miner that I also like, in full disclosure, I'm in both of these, is Pan American Silver. Now take a look at where this was around February. See, so we're around here around $21. We're up at 27.50 or so. So again, the physical one went up 12, 14%. This one went up 30, right? So these are a leveraged bet on the physical metal. So you kind of have your savings in the physical metal and you place your bets on these miners. Does that make sense? And they pay you a little dividend too. It's not great, but it's something. So at least you get paid to hold it. And it's a very easy way for the general public and for people to bet on the silver space without having to go and get the physical metal like you did. Now the reverse is also true. When it goes down, when silver goes down, these are going to go down even more. But over the long run, if you get a dividend over time and you try to get in at a lower point on the graph, I think over the next 3 to 5 years, it'll be a very, very good bet.
Okay. What
Just
percentage? What I mean, here's the research I did, Steve, just so I could talk precious metals with you. I just Googled what percentage of a person's portfolio should be in precious metals. And I looked at like 5 or 6 responses. I didn't see anybody who had it more than 20%. Like, I'm guessing you're at the high end or even more.
No, I'm, well, on the physical metal, I'm probably about 6.5%. of my net worth. And then when you take in the leveraged bet of the miners and stuff that I've got, I'm a little north of 10. And I don't know that I really want to go any more than that.
Okay.
It's the thing is when this does a reset, when you look over history of these real impressive bull runs, you know, we go from 1971, $35 all the way up to 800 something. And then we go down, it corrected and went down to about 250, and then we go up to $2,000. So they make such a move, you don't really need a whole heck of a lot. You know,
Right.
there are people that have been in this space for decades and they have more than 20%, and good for them. I wish I was in their shoes, but I'm not.
Right.
You know, you don't need a lot when these times happen, because generally speaking, these metals are very boring for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden they do something impressive.
Do you know, if I go to the gold, silver store, whatever, and sell, let's just say this hits 10, my little, whatever I got, 7 pounds, I can sell for 10,000. I bought them for a little over 3,000, you know? Do you, first of all, you're paying juice on both ends of it,
Sure.
right? Like 10% or more. And then are you also paying taxes?
Well, I had Andy Schectman on the show recently, and he explained that. And I was under the impression, falsely, that over 10 grand, you got to pay taxes. Basically, what it comes down to is how much metal are you actually turning in? And what is their requirements as a dealer, right? So if you give him and turn in more than 25 gold coins, you got to pay taxes on that. If you do 24, you don't. Or he has to report that. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Now, legally, you have to report every single sale. Whether you choose to do that or not, no one will know but you. So
Right.
I'll let you decide whether you report it or not. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I figured out. Uncle Sam.
Yeah, they gotta get theirs. You gotta pay for this.
I mean, I'll probably sell it at a loss, and no, hope this will be the one. You know, I would sell my Bitcoin before I sell the silver, because whatever, that's, you know,
Yeah.
It's going to be at least it keeps up with inflation, right? You're not supposed to have cash sitting around the house these days, or ever, but I got a lot.
Having a small allocation of cash isn't bad, you know, something in case you can't go to the ATM, like what's happening to those poor people in Russia now.
Right.
But you know, I would prefer to store it in the metal than in cash, you know, because your cash is going to get inflated away. You've seen what's happened with gas over the last couple of months.
What's your thoughts on what happened to your little plan for some Central American real estate? Is that still in the works, or did you put the brakes on that?
You know, I put the brakes on it. I'm looking for a house here, and I figured I should probably get one nailed down here before I start jumping across in in South America and grabbing some. But I would like to get some at least a little beachfront property in Nicaragua. I like.
How come everything else, stock market, everything goes down, and real estate doesn't take a hit? Like, that just seems counterintuitive to me. Am I wrong with that? Real estate prices have not even settled down, right? It's still hard for people to just even get a house. Like everything. I was talking to one guy at the card room. He's like, yeah, it's just as easy as can be. Like, someone's getting ready to put their house on. They're like, well, you'll have 3 offers by the weekend and you'll get your full price for sure.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. Especially, I've been looking for months now, and almost had one. It fell through. And it is impressive. I have not seen a market like this since probably 2006, 2007. And this is even a little more extreme. And I think the problem is
the collapse happened.
Yes. Well noted. It's pretty incredible. They'll have an open house, 70 people show up, and they'll have 12 offers. You know, almost all of them above what they're asking. And it's kind of become this game of like, well, market value right now, this place would be worth $1 million, but they list it at 900, knowing that they're under the market value, but just attracting twice as much traffic to the property, hoping to generate even more offers. It's a really, really crazy market.
I'm actually, now that I think about it, that would have been a good world for you, Steve. You know, your personality, you would have got people who would have, you know, want to you succeed, and you probably could have got a lot of listings and sold. And I mean, a good reeler. I mean, that's really competitive. There's so many people who, you got to
Yeah,
really hustle to reach the top of that world. But
yeah,
I mean, you can get lucky too. I mean, all you got to do is sell one house. There's people, I'm sure dealers have made, get $1 million house and you've made 50,000 in one day, pretty much, right? I mean,
yeah,
the way
yeah.
things are selling here, but
My buddy just sold his first $1 million house. He made, well, he's splitting it with a partner. They made 2.5 on each of that. So, that's over 10K right there.
25,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 12.5 each. Not bad. But you got to sell a lot of houses. I mean, I think he said the average real estate agent sells like 3.2 houses a year or something.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So if you're a hustler, you can get a few in a month. If you're lazy, then you could probably still pay the bills with 2 or 3 of those.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I just realized my Tron painting is tilted over there.
What else have you been up to? Playing cards, obviously.
Well, you can tell the aesthetic of the room. My shark painting and my shark picture and my Tron in between is my son's painting and a picture of my son, which means my son and his mom have moved in full time here. So
Okay. How's that going? Like it?
it's nice to see my son every day.
Yeah.
Me and the son's mom, we're more just kind of friends doing it for the kid, at least right now. She got a long-term relationship. Why complicate things?
Yeah.
She's not working. So rather than paying for 1.5 people, I'm paying for 3. And you remember me talking before about how I couldn't pay for anything because I was broke. So just pretty much sitting around here waiting for things to go to shit, Steve, I guess. I don't know. Let's see what else is going on, Steve. How much you think you're going to go to Vegas this summer? Is poker?
I think so. Yeah. It's coming up in, when is it, June?
Yeah. Did you look at the schedule? Anything? What do you think about the Rio? I like the Rio.
Yeah.
I'm not a real sophisticado. I like their rooms. They're big. I like the convenience there. The convenience of the parking was huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be a total clusterfuck on the, whether it's catching an Uber or driving in and finding parking on the strip, I think. But
Yeah. So basically they're moving it from the Rio, the convention center, which was amazing because there was 2 or 3 football fields worth of real estate for poker tables. And now they're moving it to Bally's in Paris. And I can't tell if they're going to have split the time between the two or have some events in one or do it at the convention
yeah, I'm
center.
sure they're. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe like the smaller buy-ins, the 1,500 and under, they'll have it one place, and the other place is a smaller room, so they'll have all the big buy-ins and the final tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm sure they got a lot of money and business on the line, so I'm sure they're at least they think they've got this figured out. But
Yeah, I hope so.
did you actually look at the schedule? Which week you think you want to go, or what you're?
Actually, I think I'm going June 2nd through 7th at least, and I'll try to extend it probably towards the May end.
I forget. You cashed an event last time. Was it the Monster Stack, or did a Millionaire Maker? Did you go? Did you have a decent run at something?
Yeah, I thought I made a day 3 of something, and that kind of paid for the trip. I don't remember which one it was, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know if it was the Monster Stack or what it was. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up.
Could have been a win tourney.
No, I think it was a bracelet event because I remember getting one of those little colored cards and having to go in and
okay.
Turn it in.
Maybe just a regular 1K. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You gonna get backed? You gonna ask for backing?
Yeah. Send me money, Steve.
Nice.
I have you and Carlos, I know, will each get 5 or 10% just out of pure. Yes, it's easier than trying to explain to me that I'm too terrible at poker to bet. You'd rather just suck up the $1,000 loss than deal with. I've shown to be such a sensitive, pathetic soul that I'm just out of pure sympathy. I can get some money that way.
Yeah, Carlos and I are worth a few grand just in that right there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Carlos, I think that maybe I joked it, but the right after his bracelet when he was on the well, he does the Thinking Poker podcast permanently. Nate's off there with him and Andrew, but Carlos is talking about, talking about things have changed. Remember when he just started, he won a big sit and go for 1,500. He was exhilarated. And then he's talking about after this bracelet where he won like 120,000. He's like, now I just throw it on the pile. The pile.
The pile.
How big a pile does it have to be where 100K just falls on the pile?
Yeah.
I'm always trying to, like, I don't think any player, any professional poker player with more than 10 Bitcoin should even be allowed to go to Vegas, to be honest with you. And I'm guessing he probably has more than that, but you know, it's not really my stuff. But I do not feel bad if my schedule last year was like $20,000 in tournaments, and you know, Carlos probably 10% or whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't feel ashamed over, you know, Carlos, you backing me? Sure. Show me your schedule. I'll just silence. Keep pressing my hand together. Anyway, I said I'm not gonna go this year, but of course I start getting excited as soon as I start thinking about it. But we'll have to see. I'll have to do well in cash the next 2 months here, because I'm not gonna go out there without.
What limits are you playing now?
Just the red chip game, just the 2-5 mostly. A little 2-3 for a while. Again, occasionally there'll be the 5-10 will be juicy. I'll step in, but I try not to do that just because other people are, you know.
Yeah.
Step off and play a smaller. I don't have a 5-10 bankroll, but I don't even know if I have a 2-5 bankroll, to be honest with you. But here it comes, Steve. Get the violins out. We're gonna talk about money again here.
Oh, right on.
So what else you got going, Steve? You got a girlfriend in your life that now?
No girlfriend. Just dating.
No woman's tried to kill you in the last 6 months?
No. I've narrowly avoided that. That's been nice.
Remember all the exciting times we happened, Steve, and we were both living on the edge there?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You were marrying malevolent foreign women who are, you know, throwing arsenic in your juice.
Yep.
You probably don't want to think about that. Sorry, that's old news. You're a move on, look at the brighter days kind of guy.
Yeah, that was a lesson learned on my part, for sure. Yeah, but I guess I'll be seeing you out at the WSOP.
Yeah, probably. Like I said, we'll have to see. Like I said, my number one goal is not to be. It always used to be like May was like scrounging to work. I'll play poker for 270 hours just to get that 20,000 to go to Vegas, and this is not. I forget. I think last year I had like $9,000 I was going with, and like as soon as that was out, I made sure the rest of it was in a box somewhere. So it's not like I could pull it out of a checking account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something similar, I think, is probably what the plan will be.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll probably do I don't know, $5,000 or $7,000 worth of buy-ins or something. I don't know. Depends on how much time I'm there. We'll see. Should be fun.
I'm remembering when you're talking online stuff, how fanatical you are with your bankroll. You were like, you would not buy into a $33 tournament if your bankroll dipped below 600.
Yeah.
Even though you had 3 houses and a plane and plenty of investments, you had a rule and you stick with it.
Yeah. True. And I think that's important, you know, because then you don't really care about any one tournament. You know, if it's such a sliver of your overall pie, or a small sliver, then, you know, it kind of takes a lot of the emotion out of the game, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
If you find yourself quivering with your last silver bar waiting in line at the Rio, no, you're gonna have to sell it on the street to eat afterwards. If you bust out, then you've made some. I wonder if I'm half autistic. I always think, you know, the movie Rain Man, where Dustin Hoffman plays the autistic. Remember the one scene he's crossing the street, walk, and all of a sudden stop, and he just stops in the middle of the street. Like, I think that's with you managing your bankroll, me with other stuff. It's just, okay, here's the rule.
Yeah.
Let's stick to it.
Yeah. I'll be damned if I'm standing on Las Vegas Boulevard traffic, but.
So when is your next marathon? You running? Is anything planned for that? I forget. You've only done a half marathon. You haven't done a full marathon yet, have you?
I did a full, and I've done a couple of halves.
Okay.
I'm
Which
going
one?
to do a small race. It's either a 10 or 15K here coming up. Hopefully I can knock this cold off before that happens. We'll see.
Right.
It's gonna be a rough race if if I'm still in the same shape. But
I forget. Yeah. You live in, is Ventura? That's Ventura County too. It's not LA County, right?
it's in Ventura County. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
kind of shit? I mean, it's a world of difference between now LA's maskless, but for a while we were maskless in San Diego to play poker. And they not only need a mask up in LA, you couldn't drink water at the table.
Wow.
You had to walk away from the table to get a drink if you wanted. I mean, you really had to totally keep your mask on the table.
Wow.
That would drive me insane.
Yeah. I feel like the mask laws have let up quite a bit since Russia started bombing.
Correction, don't try to make it stop. Yes, no, but
Let's see. Well, what are you gonna do? You gonna do 20K in buy-ins, or how much you thinking?
I mean, it'll depend on my cash results here because I have a certain number of buy-ins I want to have in cash all the time. So yeah, I don't know. Looking at the schedule, I think at the very least I know how to assess my own personal skills or whatever. Like I think like 8 years ago when I showed up, I was probably one of the best 15% of tournament players there, and now I'm like top 49%. You know what I mean? Like barely.
Fairly
So
above average.
So yeah, no, like 2-day tournaments and turbos and stuff where it's shallower stacked, but even in like the Millionaire Maker and the Monster Stack, by the time you get to day 3, it's really pro heavy, and I
Yeah.
mean those are still good entries for me. But anyways, so
We'll say
yeah,
minimum 5%, possibly as much as 10. Not bad.
price of silver, Steve. We'll see where silver's at. If silver's $40 an ounce. What is, when you say silver's ready to explode, like what is, do you think, the best case scenario within like 2 years? Could it be like 200 an ounce? Or is that like
Oh
too
God, I
ambitious?
hope not.
You hope it wouldn't be that high? Why not? Oh, because you're
Because that
hedging
means
against it?
the world economic situation would be awful, and probably not a place you want to live. If it goes from $24 to 200 in a couple of years, the Earth is probably a pretty unpleasant place. Does that make sense? So I could see,
Says the smiling man. You're like, unpleasant.
right? I would
Shitstorm,
do quite
baby.
well in that scenario, but I don't think most of the planet would. I would think that the next big resistance that we got is around $30. That's pretty much, it's kind of following in a channel, and $30 is, at least as far as technical standards, is quite a bit of resistance. Once it goes through that, there's very little resistance along the way to get to $50. So our initial target, I think, is 30. That could get hit by the end of the year. I don't know. But I do know that when we have a monthly and a weekly close above $30, the next real level of resistance is going to be 50.
Okay.
I think a realistic target for the next 2 years is probably north of $30, something like that.
Do you have any crypto right now, or you're just totally out of that?
I got a little bit. I got some Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Bitcoin.
I mean, if Bitcoin, do you have any like number? Like, well, if Bitcoin now goes down to 15,000, I want to buy one of those.
My number, at least looking at the graphs, is around 18K, but I think you're on the right track.
I don't know if a lot of people don't think it'll go really much below 40. It's just, there's too much institutional money and too much, the banks and the billionaires see the value of it. So as long as they're trying to hoard it, it doesn't go below 40, but I don't know.
They're right. Looking at the graph, it looks to me like it will.
Okay.
So I'll start getting very interested if it gets down to 20. And if it starts to dip below that, I think that might be a buying opportunity. But I could be wrong. The one way to do it is like you do with silver, just every 2 weeks, just buy a little bit. Then you really don't give a shit what the price does.
Right.
It's at the end of the day, it's all about how many Bitcoin do you have, not what did you pay in dollars for them.
Sure.
Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
the same thing with silver. You know, how many ounces do you have, not how much did you pay for it.
Yeah. When
It's
someone
a
asked
different
me
way
what
of
my-
thinking of it. You have to think of
Right.
it like the American dollar is getting inflated away, just like all the other currencies on the planet. So it kind of becomes the thing of like, it doesn't matter what you really paid for the silver. It's how many
Right.
ounces do you have?
When people ask me about Bitcoin, I say I have jack shit and it cost me a ton of shit. So somehow it feels mistakes were made there. I don't know. But well, Steve, it's been a long time here, man. We gotta hook up, but I guess it'll be just a couple months. I'll be there.
Yeah. It'll be
Did
fun.
your parents rent that place? I'm assuming.
They did. Yeah. So we won't have that one to go to,
Okay.
but who knows? Maybe something else will pop. But,
Okay, buddy.
thank you,
Well,
man. I appreciate it.
I'll
This was
talk to you
fun.
soon, man.
Okay. I'll talk to
Okay.
you later.